I went from this to this. Just about everybody on the internet thinks it's fake, AI generated, or I'm stealing somebody's photos. The other half of people wants to know how I did it and how long it took me. I've always struggled with binge eating disorder for as long as I can remember. When I was a kid, I used to steal food from the fridge, and as soon as I started earning money when I got my first job, I would be buying fast food for every single meal, and I wouldn't leave work without buying about 6 packets of lollies, a couple of chocolates, and a little snack. But things started to get really out of hand when I turned 19. I was 96 kilos at my heaviest. Might have been more, but I was really obese, especially considering I'm only 5 foot tall. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid disease, and I believe that it was brought on because of my weight gain. I was also in extreme pain in my joints. I'm small, that's a lot of weight to be carrying on my small frame. My mom at the time was also on a weight loss program, and I guess I was pretty inspired by her weight loss, and I just woke up one morning and said, fuck this. I am not going to be living this life anymore. I'm miserable. I'm fat. People treat me like shit. From that day onwards, I changed my life. It was probably the hardest thing I have ever done in my life so far, but I was so committed to losing the weight. And when I tell you from that day onwards, I didn't deviate from my plan. I literally didn't deviate from my plan. I don't know what kicked into me, but something did, and I just stopped. So how did I do it? There is no secret to weight loss, and I learned that along my journey. A lot of people think there's a magic pill, and yep, these days there is Ozempic, there is pills you can take, but the reality is those pills just put you in a calorie deficit, and you also have to exercise at the same time. There is no magic. You have to stop eating. I hate me for saying that, but that is the truth, and that is the hard lesson that I had to learn, was I had to stop eating. I couldn't excuse myself and say that I just am naturally a bigger person. I just naturally gain weight. I have a slow metabolism. The reality is I just had to stop eating. I just had to stop eating like shit. I was in a calorie deficit, and I was also doing 10,000 steps a day no matter what. I was lucky. At the time I was working at Subway, which was a very active job. Most of the time I would have 10,000 steps done by the first 4 hours of the morning. But if I had a day off and I couldn't reach 10,000 steps a day, you best believe, even if it was 11 p.m. at night, I was walking around my neighborhood to get those 10,000 steps up. I'm not a nutritionist, but I know this from what I learned. It is about the calories that you're putting in versus the calories that you're burning. You burn so many calories just sitting here like I am right now. Also need to be burning a little bit more on top of that to be in a calorie deficit. Hard to make sense of it, but once you get it, and you're on a fucking roll from there. And I pretty much just stuck to that the entire time. It took me roughly 1.5 years to lose 50 kilos. It was 50 kilos in total. Crazy. This is what I look like at the end of my weight loss. I think I was about 21, 20 at my absolute thinnest weight. And at that stage, I had a lot of loose skin on my stomach, got a shitload of loose skin on my arms and on my inner thighs. Just about everywhere, even on my face. I have shit tons of loose skin. I'm talking about here too. Because I was only 21 and I looked like I had a on my stomach. I wanted to live my 20s the best way I could. I wanted to be as beautiful as I wanted to be. I just wanted to cut it off. I decided to book in to have a tummy tuck, liposuction, and a BBL at the same time. At the time, I was incredibly broke. I had about $3,000 to my name, which I had to spend on rent, food. I didn't have a very good income at that time. Hey, that's why I opted in to have a surgery in Turkey. So that's a whole nother story for another time, to have surgery to get rid of my loose skin. It was not weight loss surgery. I had it at my lowest weight. I did have surgery, and I shared the whole process of that online. Let me know if you'd like to hear about my surgery horror story. I nearly died. Fast forward to after my surgery. When you have a BBL, you essentially have to feed the fat or keep the fat. Otherwise you lose the fat dies. My brain took that as, oh great, I have to eat more so that I could keep the fat. I gained, I think it was about 15 to 20 kilos after my surgery. Not recommended. I fell back into my binge eating, my bad habit, really badly. The whole era that everybody says they loved the most about me. Everyone says, go back to 2024, Lara. But oddly enough, at that time, all through 2024, everyone was saying how I look like a pig, how I look disgusting, how I need to go to the gym. It was a really awful period of time for me because I got treated so poorly online. And then now that I've lost weight, everyone's backtracked. Ugh. That is a very interesting thing about weight loss that I'm going to talk about in a second. Gained about 20 kilos and then I was like, fuck that. I didn't lose all this weight for nothing. And I decided to lose the weight again. I don't want to lead an unhealthy life and die younger, so I lost the weight again. I think a lot of people get confused between my weight loss. They think that the weight that I lost from 2024 to now is the same as the weight that I lost in 2019, but they were totally separate instances of when I relapsed from my binge eating. But this is what I am now, and I am happy with where I'm at. I think the craziest thing that I noticed about my weight loss transformation, there's two things. First of all is probably the saddest thing, and every time I think about it, it makes me cry a little bit. When I was really big, people didn't want to be friends with me. They wouldn't talk to me. They would treat me very differently. Even strangers would treat me very differently. Once I had lost the weight, it was crazy. Skinny privilege and pretty privilege exists. I don't care what anyone says. Experienced it firsthand. Started making more friends. People started wanting to talk to me. I stopped being treated like a child or like somebody that's not worth anything. It's a, oh my God, crazy concept to accept. And now that I'm thinner, I can hear the things that people say about bigger people. I can hear the hate. Awful. It is the world we live in today. If I ever hear any fat phobic comments, I have a lot to say to that person. The second thing that I noticed after losing weight, which happened mostly in the second round of me losing weight, was people also treated me differently, but they also treated my weight loss as if it was a bad thing. And I've noticed that a lot more in the more recent years, that weight loss has gone from something so admirable. It was put on a pedestal because everybody knew how fucking hard it was. But these days, it is completely flipped to the other side where it's like, you shouldn't have lost the weight. Oh, you used Ozempic, didn't you? Oh, you looked better beforehand. I get crazy comments every single day where people will even say that the 2019 me looked better, and I know they're fucking lying. A lot of people are seeing celebrities and everything lose a lot of weight, so it's making them think that they need to lose a lot of weight. Excuses in their head like, oh, these celebrities are using Ozempic, which they are. They're using it as an excuse like, oh, I can't lose weight because I can't get Ozempic. So creating a lot of hatred in people. I could be completely wrong here, but I've definitely noticed a trend in people starting to hate me more because I lost weight. It's fucking bizarre to me. It's crazy. Last thing that I wanted to touch on in this topic is the fact that weight loss didn't solve my problems. I thought that when I lost weight, I would feel more beautiful. I would think that I'm skinny. I would think that everybody likes me more. It didn't eliminate my insecurities. If anything, it exacerbated them. Weight loss isn't the answer to everything. I still use filters in all of my videos. I still feel like I need to have surgeries all the time. I guess the fact that I post myself online allows people to speak about me freely however they want. That of course messes with my head as well. I hope that answers most of your questions and clears things up about my weight loss transformation. I think it is an absolutely insane weight loss transformation, and I don't blame the people that don't believe it. But I did live that life. That was really me. This is a bunch more photos as well, just for the people that really don't believe me. Losing 50 kilograms is absolutely possible. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe because I will be posting videos way more frequently.